But you can talk about whatever you want. There's no right or wrong answer or anything like that. And if you don't want to talk about it, just say, no, I don't want to talk about it. But just more about like my grandparents, because I never met them. So your sister and your brother, Kath and Tom, what were they like? Oh, I met Kath when I was little, but I don't really remember. So it's good to have you guys there. And
it would be hard to talk about it.
Yeah. Or maybe you don't
Kath
necessarily.
was my sister and Tom was Jack's brother.
Yeah. So. Or maybe you could just talk about growing up. It doesn't have to be about them, but what it was like growing up in the Mallee.
The conditions.
Yeah. Tell us about
that. Really, our story started at the end of the Second World War, 42 or whatever it was, and or 42 was it? Or
44.
Oh, yeah, because Tom was in the Air Force and he'd been away and Jack was working on the farm, and I was at school when the war was on, but then I'd just come home from finishing secondary school and I started teaching. And is that what you wanted to know?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So
we weren't married till 48, so there's, you see the years, the time flows in between, doesn't it? So we were going to have a double wedding, and my mother was Irish, and she had lots of superstitions, and she said, double weddings are bad luck, right? So Kath and Tom were married
in April.
And we were married in May.
No way.
2 separate weddings.
Yeah.
We were married in Ballarat because by that time my mum and dad had sort of shifted to and fro to Ballarat, so that's where we were married.
So did you grow up in Ballarat or in the Mallee?
In the Mallee.
In the Mallee.
Yeah.
What are your earliest memories of when you were young? Like, was it always hot? You obviously didn't have any air conditioning, no fridges, no electricity. What do you remember of like life being like? Did you hang around animals a lot?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Riding horses and potty calves.
Horses and the farms were worked with horse teams. Just the changeover from horses to tractor, and I was just teaching in the little country school,
and we spoke about that before about how they used to use
how we used the horses.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, the teams were 8 or 10 horses, weren't they?
Yeah.
And yes, so...
You used to help your father,
yes. There was 3 girls in our family, and I was the third. And I probably they were hoping that I was a boy, I don't know. But I always wanted to be a boy so that I could be outside with the animals and the farm and that. So I used to do a lot of horse riding and rounding up sheep and working with the horses and that sort of thing. And we had, before I went to school, we used to have to milk cows. You didn't buy milk in a bottle. It came from the cow, and that used to be the job, to milk the cows and separate the milk and get ready for school. And sometimes we were taken in a horse and gig. Other times we just ride our own pony to school, tie this pony up while we're in school all day, and come home again and then do jobs around the farm. One of my jobs used to be to get in the morning sticks.
What's that? Morning sticks?
The morning sticks. Well, we didn't have any gas or electricity, so to light the fire, you had to gather little
twigs,
piece of kindling. So that was fell to me to get the morning sticks, and if I happened to be in a hurry and didn't get quite enough sticks, I wasn't too popular.
Fair enough. It sounded like you had a fair few jobs to do.
Oh, because
It sounded like you had a lot of jobs. You had to
Yeah.
do. So in the morning you would milk the cows.
cows,
Yeah.
there were 3 or 4 cows, and separate the milk and get cream, Mum would make butter out of it, and that was that.
And then the milk. Would you ever sell the milk? Would you sell the milk, or would you just use that around the
No,
place?
we weren't really dairy farmers, but we used to sometimes. Our main communication was with the train, wasn't it?
Yeah, excess cream.
Yeah, excess cream and excess eggs. There was, instead of having your little 4 or 5 chickies in the yard like we have now, there could have been 20 or 30 or chooks running around, and so sometimes there'd be stacks of eggs, and they would send them, pack them in boxes and send them on the train down to
Melbourne.
oh no, I think they went to, well, the cream, it went to Boort, I
Board,
think.
the cream went
Yes.
to Board, yeah.
I'm not sure where the eggs went.
And apart from the eggs and the cream, you would make a little bit of money from, but mainly it was farming.
Yes,
And you were saying,
main thing was to grow wheat.
yeah.
That was the most important.
And can you tell us about when your dad cleared the land and what he had to go through when he, because that's just amazing for me.
Yes.
How he did that.
Oh, well,
And same with you, Jack, if you want to jump in.
my dad lived in southern Victoria, or mid-Victoria, I suppose, and the land where we went to in the Mallee was undeveloped and uncleared, and if you applied for a block of land, the blocks were 640 acres then, square mile, and if you applied, and that was granted through the government, and so then you had to set to clear it, work and clear it, and make it productive, and the first thing was when they first started, they had bullocks, didn't they?
Yes.
My father there were 3 brothers, Hopkins brothers, and Tom, Stan, and Jack. And Jack he went on and did further education, so he didn't sort of farm, and then he went to the war in 1418. And
Sorry, the First World War?
yeah,
Yeah, so 1914, yeah.
He was the younger of the 3, so he was out of the picture. But the other 2 selected land in the Mallee, in northern Victoria, and when they came, it was just scrub and kangaroos and emus and what have you, and trees. And the first operation was they used rollers and pulled them with bullocks to roll the trees down to clear. And once they were rolled down and dried out, I suppose, then they burnt them, got rid of, and then they had to get rid of the stumps that were under the ground, some manually by ploughs or something, and they got the stumps out from under the ground, and then they'd cultivate and plant the wheat and hope for a harvest.
Yeah.
And they didn't have headers then when they were harvesting the wheat. They had what they called a stripper. The old H.B. Mackay was a company in Melbourne, and they had a stripper which was like a huge box, and a blade would they have had in the front, and a
beaters.
Oh, beaters in front on the comb, pulled all the heads of the wheat through and into the thing, and then manually they had what they called a winnower, and it one man turning the handle and putting the wheat heads and everything through.
Another one forking the
and someone forking the heads out of the stripper, and then finally they ended up with the grain. Put into bags, loaded it onto the wagon, drawn by 4 or 5 or 6 sometimes horses, and carted it about 7, 8 from where we were, 7 or 8 miles to the railway station, and then the bags were loaded into the train.
And Jack, you were saying before how when they were clearing the land and if they hit a snag and the things they had to do with the axe and remember how you were saying they had to cut a V with the axe.
Yes.
That was for a bigger tree. If there was a bigger tree in amongst the scrub, the horses couldn't get it over, so they had to, put a V in it, and then the horses were able to pull it over.
Yeah, but also there were a lot of places, where we were Mallee, the timber wasn't huge. It was just sort of spindly trees and bushes and things. But in other parts of Victoria, where the trees were, big trees like that, they went round, it was called ring barking, and they'd just
Died.
chip around all the tree with the axe, and that to stop the sap and kill the tree.
And did your dads ever tell you any stories about how hard it was clearing that land? Because it would have been tough.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of physical work. It was all physical. And even when it came to planting the wheat, now they have, the wheat has to be treated, and they used to have like a big barrel and liquid in it, and they'd
Formalin.
Yeah.
Use formalin.
Formalin pickle most to kill the whatever might be on the grain, and dunk that in the water, and then take it and plant it.
They do that the night before, and it'll drain overnight, and that's ready for now to go off at sunrise in the morning, to start off their planting.
Yeah.
There was no driving all night with the tractor, was there?
No. And the horses had to sort of be in before sundown, so they'd dry. The coats would dry before it.
Had to knock off work, like 4 or 5 o'clock, depending on the time of the year, I suppose.
Yeah.
And so the horses wouldn't get cold with the wet coat.
So if the horse had a wet coat, it would get sick, or it would get the disease would grow or something?
Yeah, it'd give them a chill, they get pneumonia or something like that.
Yeah. So that was the main part of the operation, your team of horses, or some places.
And the horses, biggest one was trimming the horses' hooves. so you had 10 horses, you had 40 hooves to trim. Not every time, but say every 3 weeks, a month.
Really?
Like you'd have to go over, and otherwise they'd crack in the sand, in the sandy conditions. They'd get flat feet, and they'd spread, and they'd crack, so you had to stop them cracking.
They were all the jobs that the harness all had to be treated with. They used to treat it with fat.
That was a wet day job. You had to sort of oil the harness up, and if a collar wasn't fitting the horse properly and it got a sore, you'd have to have a big pad just under the sore, so it wouldn't be rubbing on the sore.
Jeez. Yeah.
I don't know whether that's what you, but that's how it was. It was all everything was manual.
Yeah.
And probably one of the hardest jobs, but the farmers didn't do that. But jobs that if you were looking for work in those days, you could get a job sewing the bags of wheat. Each bag had to, it had to be
22 stitches, I think.
Your Ray, old Ray, would have your mother's grandfather.
So young Ray, you mean?
No,
Young Ray or
old
old Ray?
Ray.
Oh, old Ray. Yeah.
See, young Ray's in the same business.
And his father.
And his father. He would have. I don't know whether some of them must have cleared land.
Some of the times I went across to Raymond's, we'd go out sewing bags. he might have to get a load ready for the Monday morning for somebody, a contractor to come and pick it up.
Each bag had to be how many stitches?
22.
22 stitches to the bag. So that was one shoot off of employment, and the other one was when we unloaded it at the railway station. People were employed they called it lumping, and they picked the bags up, put them on their shoulders,
Walk up a plank
and put them in the railway truck.
No, in the railway truck or store them on the ground.
Oh yeah.
So you'd get pretty strong from doing that. Good workout. You didn't need to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd run up this plank. It's only about that wide, with a 180 pound on their back.
Yeah. Well, big thing, as we were growing up, before we were married, they built big silos, and that was the change that came, and so the wheat was carted in bulk trucks
Or
or
open
wagons.
bags.
Yeah, or open bags, yeah, and tipped into the silo.
Gee, I'll just have a quick.
Well, there didn't seem to be, boys just mainly came back to farms, and they didn't, well, just in the case of Dad and his two brothers, well, the youngest one then was, he must have been a pretty good scholar at school, and he went away and I think he works for the taxation department when he was in the public service, or what do they call it?
Yeah, a bit different to farming then.
Yeah, but he did come back.
He came back though. All he wanted to be was then, when he got back from the war, was farm. So
he was fairly successful.
yeah.
And you mentioned the war. What was that like? I couldn't imagine. You know, the stuff you'd hear about World War II, fighting the Germans, Australia's under attack from the Japanese.
Yeah.
Was it scary?
I was at school.
Yeah.
And in Ballarat, and we used to I don't think they asked the girls to do any shovel work, but they dug like trenches around under the big cypress trees and that, and we used to have to they'd do a practice that sound a siren or a bell or whatever, and we all had to leave the school very orderly manner, not was double story, so had the proper pattern for leaving and go and get in the trenches. But there was never any real activity, but it was happening up in Darwin and northern Australia.
Townsville also.
Townsville.
And,
So,
and Tom, obviously, he joined the Air Force.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that? How was he super keen to join?
Yeah, he had a big operation when he was about 16, and he had a big scar on his thing. So when he went to be examined, the question was, is he good enough to be in the services? And one fellow says, oh yes, let him go. But they give him a job at the lowest part, a guard. He was a guard, so he had a lot of fun in the guards.
he was up at Darwin, wasn't he?
He was at Darwin, and he was at Townsville, and then he came back and finished at Lake Boga because that was a base for the seaplanes. They used to bring them down there to repair them. But while he's in Darwin, there was about 10 or 11, they were little units out through the bush, and someone bet him he wasn't going to let the gun off. So during the night, bang goes the gun, and bang again, and he got called in next morning. Well, what's the disturbance? Oh, he said there was something around the fuel depot, noises around the fuel depot, and he said, next thing I hear thud, thud. So I called out halt, and I kept going, so I fired.
It was a kangaroo.
And he said, no, I woke up, it was a kangaroo.
So he won the bet.
Yes. So then he was down at Lake Boga, and it's a long way from anywhere, and he was on the main gate, guarding the main gate, and the officers were coming through, and there's some wafts in the car, and they, you know, thought he could drive straight through. So he yelled out, "Halt!" and they didn't stop, so he banged the gun off again. And he's called in again, and they said, "What was the thing?" He said what he did, and the officer said, "Oh, you want to hold that till you get up north?" He said, "Hold that till you get up north."
As in overseas?
Yeah. But he did the right thing. The officer thought he was so good he wasn't going to stop.
Yeah. Did he give you, was there any other war stories like that he would tell you? I'm sure he would have had a few. Were they the main two stories that you can think of? Or even not necessarily with the war, but just with your brother, I don't know, growing up, if you had, I'm sure you would have had...
I had to step in where he did, when he left, drive the teams and that, see. So that was that, yeah.
So, and you would have been, at that stage, 16, 17, or 15?
Jack was just too young, weren't you?
I could have had 6 months in after the war finished, you know, in Japan. I could have had 6 months there.
Yeah.
But I thought, well, all the war's over, I wasn't joining up, so...
Yeah.
No, I don't think any funny things happened except driving the header. The horses wouldn't go up the corner. They get cunning, and they want to turn before the corner. So I got some stones, and so I threw at one, and he took a plunge and he choked down, and he came over backwards. And the horses were like that in team, at 4 in front and 4 in the back. And he came over and he split up. He got out of his chains and I headed for home. But luckily I'd closed the gate. So I tied the other horses up and went down, caught him, brought him back and mended the chains, put him back in. I got one more round done for that night.
That probably doesn't, you know.
No, it does. That fascinates me because so the horses are just going like, I'm sick of this. I'm cutting corners.
Yeah.
But they're trying to, and you're going, oh wait, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Try a rock.
Yeah, Mum and Dad were coming out to see where I was because I was late getting home.
Did you tell them the truth?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's something like that.
I don't know if you would have.
Yeah,
that's good. And
But
I knew if the horses got home, there'd be trouble. They'd be.
Yeah. That's what you're saying. You're lucky you closed the gate.
Yeah, closed the gate. Yeah.
Smart. And what was Bob like around the farm?
Bob?
Yeah.
He came into the tractor stage after the war. He came in. Yeah.
But he was what, 8, 9?
7 years, I think. I think 7 years difference, I think. Yeah.
He was so much younger. Tom and Jack were sort of grown up before Bob came on the scene.
Yeah. Because I never met Bob, I don't think, but I heard he was a pretty funny character. He had a big laugh, didn't he?
Yeah.
A big belly laugh, and Dad always talks about Uncle Bob.
He got very big. He wasn't, as a child he wasn't.
They said he couldn't weigh on a weighing machine. They had to put him on the wheat weighbridge to weigh him. He's 28 stone. Yeah.
And he was a funny character, wasn't he?
Yeah. He cost him his life, really. His excess weight. How old was he when he died? 57.
57, I think. Yeah.
But yes, I don't know. He seemed to be having a lot of fun when we were married and had lots of responsibilities, and that where Bob seemed to be still enjoying life. And then he got married and they had
4 children.
Yes, the girl and the boy, and then twin boys.
Awesome. And when Tom came home from the war, I might have this wrong, but my grandma used to tell me that. So my grandma Edna Cockfield and Bill Fawcett met each other when Tom Painter, your brother, came home from war.
Yeah.
So when he came back, was there a big party? Or was there maybe a celebration?
There
when
was
he...
a party before, a send-off.
There was a big party when the war ended. There was a big party in Chillingolla in the hall, and all the men that had come back from the war. Well, it was it was a public welcome home. It wasn't I suppose there was a few private ones too.
Yeah.
Don't you remember in the Golla Hall?
So you probably wouldn't have remembered my grandma, Edna, and Bill. That's where they met, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know if you...
Yeah, I can remember when they were going together. I can remember that.
Yeah. Well, Edna and Bill, Bill was playing footy when you were.
Bill was playing football, yeah.
Edna was just a bit younger than I was.
So you played footy with Bill Fawcett?
Yeah.
What was he like?
He's all right. He's a bull terrier. He didn't stop.
So he was a bit shorter?
Yeah, he's shorter, yeah.
Yeah.
Donnie was there.
That's right, yeah.
I can say up at Kath and Tom's, and Hamish was 7, 8, 10.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he was big enough to be kicking a footy. And Jack said he's going to be like his father. Oh, wait a minute, am I skipping a generation? Hamish.
Yeah, was going to be like his grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Hamish...
I said to Bill Painter, I
your
said
father.
He'll make league football, that bloke.
And that was Hamish.
Yeah, got pretty close.
And he somehow or other, I don't know whether he's like his grandfather at all now.
I think so.
say.
Yeah, I think Mum always says he's very similar.
Yeah. So that was an observation that was made.
Yeah, definitely.
When he was only a little boy.
And what was, if I ask Jack, he won't tell me the truth, but what was Jack like as a footballer? Because you'll tell me that you were okay, but I reckon Beryl will say that you were pretty good.
At football?
Jack was a very good footballer?
Yeah.
That's what I heard. I heard
Good
he was
football.
really good, yeah.
So he was, there was some bit of a skit written, or what was it? And Painter with the big hands.
No. Jack Painter had hands like a clamp, and Billy and Bobby came home from the military camp. So Bob was in the military.
Call up.
And they went down and got him for the grand final, to play in the grand final.
For Chungo.
Yeah. Because we're only running on
He was pretty
laws.
good. I thought he was the best.
Bob? Oh. Is that why you chose him?
Oh, well. I know we both liked horses.
Yeah.
And farming.
Well, maybe you can tell us how you guys met and how the love started with you two. How your relationship started,
Yeah.
Do you really want to know?
Yeah, well, I'm assuming it's through...
Well, in 1944 there was a drought, real drought, and everybody vacated the mallee. No crops, nothing. Just a dust bowl it was. And we put our sheep on the train and took them to Gippsland. And the train left Chillingolla about midnight, and it went through. 2 days later, I think we got them at Warrigal in Victoria, and on the way down at Crong Vale, that was breakfast. So we were in having breakfast, and this girl was sitting over the other side of the table, and enjoying it, and laughing and joking with her sister, and I spotted her, and I thought, she's not a bad girl.
Oh, that's not bad.
So that went on, and then we had the sheep around the roads in Gippsland for 6 months, just trailing 1,000 sheep around. And we came back, and then at a ball one night I met again.
So that first time when you spotted her, and she was laughing, and you said she's pretty good looking. Did you go over and have a chat?
No, never spoke.
But you just noted it.
I was observing.
He must be.
And then, so you didn't actually meet until the ball.
Yeah.
So then, how did you get up the courage to go and speak to her?
Oh, I had a dance.
Do you remember what you said? Or do you remember the song?
And then we got to. The strangest thing was we lived 10 miles.
I suppose 7 or 8.
Apart.
As the crow flies.
On 2 different farms, and I, up until, as Jack said, he saw me on the train, all I knew was it was painters' sheep. They said painters are sending their sheep away when we were, back at the thing. Yes, we'd lived that close together, and yet we hadn't met or. Jack went to a different school, and it was all just that little bit of distance. Nowadays, you know people that are hundreds of miles away, don't you?
Yeah.
And so Laura also came home. I'd been away in Ballarat at school. Then when I came back teaching, I was back in Chillingollar again, and round about, and that's how we met. And
do you remember what you thought of him? So you first met him at the ball, and he asked for a dance.
Yes.
He's got this tall, handsome man asking me for a dance.
And then used to. Oh, you came down home looking for.
I came down shearing. I was shearing, and we were shearing Beryl's father's sheep. And she had to bring the sheep in and says, here's this girl on a horse. She's trying to drive the sheep into a yard. So I had to go and give her a hand.
And one thing developed into the other.
Yeah, definitely. And so you guys met before Tom and Kath?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
So I'll be keen to hear.
And
I think Jack's coming home, but I'll be keen to hear about how Tom and Kath met after this. But I think
they would have met. Kath came back. She'd been away in Ballarat longer than I was.
Hey Janet, how are you?
Hello.
So my family and stuff like that. So when Kath met Tom, can you tell us?
Kath and Tom.
Yeah, when they met each other. That would, if we could
Yes.
Tell me about that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Oh well, I've told you that part, didn't I?
Oh yeah, I don't think we got it on camera though.
Oh, I know.
So yeah.
Oh well, when the war ended, the Second World War, and Tom came back from the Air Force, and Kath, who had been away at school and then at Teachers College, etc., and she came back into the district, and we met then. Kath and Tom met at the various function. Mostly likely be a dance, I suppose that's what we called it, a dance.
Yeah.
How they'd interpret that now. So then I think Jack and I were our little romance had developed a bit, and they were sort of visiting one another's places and going to dances and things together.
So you were already an item. You would you call it boyfriend and girlfriend back then, or would you say you're seeing each other?
I suppose they don't say that now, do they? But, we were sort of just socialising around and Kath, because Kath had come back and Tom had been away for a few years for the war, and they just met that way.
Yeah. And did you maybe introduce them, Jack, or?
No, I don't think so. No.
Did
I introduce Kath and Tom?
Oh no, I don't know whether there was a real introduction. They would have met, like this.
Yeah. And did you go on any double? You mentioned you almost had a double wedding.
Yes.
Did you ever go on any double dates? Like go to the drive-ins together, or go out, anything like that?
No, but we didn't have a double wedding.
Yeah, but you almost did.
A double date.
You know, a double date. How you go?
We're gonna have to go.
Oh.
The only one was when you were at the meeting, and I took you down, drove you down to the meeting, and that's about the only time we went together.
And Kath and Tom came too.
Yeah,
Okay.
from the Dodge. Went down.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you call it doubles, we're often at the same functions together.
Oh yeah.
And then it must have been one of those welcome home visits that there was.
Yeah.
And Kath and I were at the Chillingolla Hall, and everybody was, the music started and got later and later. And there was this other old chap, remember? What's his name? Howley. Jack Howley, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he knew that, you know, there was a little bit of friendship, romance, whatever you call it, going.
Yeah.
And he kept coming over to Kath and I and saying there'd been a lot of rain and we didn't know whether, you know, whether they were going to be able to get over the roads. And Kath and I were a bit amused at but he kept coming over and telling us the painters, you eventually got the...
No, we didn't go.
No, eventually he had to come and say it was too wet, they couldn't come. So.
Oh no. Yeah.
So that double date didn't work out, did it?
Yeah, almost though. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're just little things you remember from those times.
If you think of any other stories, just sing out and
Okay, then as Tom went on, Kath, Kath came back. She was teaching, you know, in the vicinity.
Kilgoa.
And then she came back and was teaching at Nowie North, and I was teaching at Narrabee. So yeah, we're all in together then.
Yeah, and the house on Painter Road where Dad's got the farm, you know that house on Painter Road where my dad has the farm?
Yes, yeah.
Do you remember when they bought that or when they moved there?
Yes, yeah. I remember that. Tom came back from the war and they were trying to get, you know, sold a settlement through the war for Tom, or to use that to buy another farm.
This is Second World War?
Yeah.
So yeah, by Tom, your brother, yeah.
Because a lot of people got farms were, well, they were able to give them a start anyway on farms. And
Franco Hill and Co. from Bendigo owned it. Oh,
yeah, and it was just next door to Painters, and they got in touch with him and bought it. They didn't get it through the settlement, did they?
No.
They just bought an adjoining property to Painters. We had to go past. From our place, we had to go past this farm to get to Jack's place, because along the roads, yeah. So that was, although Tom came home, but they were married. When they were married, they were at Painters. Tom was farming still with his father, and that's where they were living.
They're living over in the refugees.
Yes, and then there was another block, a small house over called Fugees. I don't know how you spelled it, F-U-G. And it was pretty remote.
And then Kathleen was born while they were there.
Yeah, yes.
Do you remember that when you found out that your sister, that you were going to be an auntie? So when you found out that your sister was pregnant, were you really happy?
Oh yes, although there was, I suppose, there's always another side. Exactly a month after that Jack and I were married, my dad died, and yes, so and we didn't, at that stage we didn't know that Kath and Tom were expecting a junior.
Yeah.
But just after that, so we were all very excited and of course waiting for the new arrival, Kathleen. And I can still remember Kathleen's, she was supposed to be born on the 12th of April, I think it was. No, it couldn't have been. But anyway, it was a 22nd of April that she was born. And it's funny how you can never remember birthdays, or I can't always, but I always can remember Kathleen's birthday because, yes, everybody was waiting and thought she was going to arrive on the 12th of April. Instead of that, it was, yeah.
She'd probably been, everyone was so excited because she was the first one.
Yes,
she was the oldest, and that was like
yeah,
a new thing for everyone, I suppose.
Great excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as Kathleen was growing up, she, Little, and we used to visit a lot, and the kids, the two lots of kids grew up very close together. Kath and Tom had
double cousins.
6, and we had 5, and
it was enough to make a party.
Every birthday,
yeah,
there'd be, if it didn't matter if we didn't have anyone else, we had a big party.
Yeah.
And
be heaps.
The Hopkins used to come up too, so there was about 6 in that family, so you had about 17.
yeah.
A lot of painters.
Yes, yeah. Oh, well, they were
Hopkins, yeah.
Oh,
our
that's
nephew,
right, yeah.
our cousin.
They were very close because Isabel was Kath's mate through
Friend at
her
school.
younger days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so...
And I was just thinking that I'll just go back a little bit, just talking about the amount of numbers. When you were younger, was Lily Lily Cockfield, was she your teacher?
Yeah.
No, Lily was never your teacher.
Not
she was Bob's teacher.
Yes, she was Bob's
teacher. And I've heard a story, you might know it better than me. Did Bob, or were some of the students, were they pretty cheeky? Were they pretty cheeky?
Cheeky?
Cheeky, like, they get up to mischief and play pranks on teachers and stuff?
I don't know whether he's like that, was he, Bob?
What was that?
Cheeky.
Cheeky?
Yeah.
He wouldn't be cheeky. Actually, I taught Bob too.
Yeah.
Which was more complicated. He wouldn't have been cheeky, but he was sort of, well, shall I say, down to earth. He might, and I think it would have been a bit because he didn't grow up with a mob with kids. He was sort of a child with older. His brothers were that much older, and that, and it wouldn't be. He'd say things that just come out of his. He'd say what he thought, put it that way, and it might sound cheeky, but I never ever found him. Then you see, when I come out of college and I was teaching at the Narrabee school, and Bob was there, and he was in year 7. He was just getting, and he turned 14. Would have been.
Something like that.
And so the day he turned 14 was the day I left school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I said to him, these are the things that you might think, that someone might think that was cheeky or whatever. And I said, oh, Bob, keep going till the end of the year, so finish the year off. And with a bit of a laugh, he said, oh no, I think I know enough now. And that was the way he would talk.
Yeah.
Lily, your
Cockfield, yeah.
She, when she left, I
used to go. No.
There was another girl came for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't, because I remember Lily coming to me and saying, Narrabee will be vacant, I'll be on
Oh,
that she was planning to retire.
yeah. And having, you were saying before how, if you
So
want
that
to,
was,
yeah.
how long did I teach before we were married? 2 years. I finished college at 46 and we married in 48.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wasn't
It
bad.
must have been summer for a year.
Yeah, there must have been a year in between when I'm calling her Lily now, but I always called her Mrs. Cockfield.
Yeah.
She was a long, she'd been at now.
4
She was
years.
in Narrabee when it started.
Yeah, when it started, yeah.
It was sort of built by the farmers and that, and started up a school, and Mrs. Cockfield was, and so she must have been there about 9 or 10 years, I reckon. She was there a long time. And she came, we met or something, and she said, oh, I'm retiring at the end of the year, so, and that's when I applied for it.
Was it pretty common for people to finish school at 14? Or would they?
Yes, what did I finish at 12?
No, you didn't. Oh, yeah, but you went away to school. No, no, not that. Mostly merit. There was an exam, like you've got ATC now. Well, year 8, at the end of year 8, you passed, there was an outside exam, and that was called the merit certificate. And the majority would have left. Not too many. Some old neighbour of ours, when I was going away to school, and he said to my dad, oh, she can't go away. He said, Stan, what are you, there was no boys. She's got to, help you on the farm.
And was it really awesome having, you were saying before, when it was someone's birthday, you'd already have like 15 people when the two families would come together, 6 in one family, 5 in the other. Was it awesome just having family around all the time? What was that like? With the kids, kind of double cousins, like I know my dad and Stan, they were like best mates.
They really enjoyed it.
Bill, he'll tell you. Bill was sort of, there was Ted and Kathleen and Ted and
Mary.
Yeah, Marie. They're all David and Marie. I was in hospital. David was born prematurely, and I was in hospital, and next thing, and I knew Kath was due to come to hospital, the Swan Hill Hospital, and I heard this vehicle, anyway, it was next morning, Kath was in hospital, and so we were both in hospital together with Marie and David.
No way.
So, whatever, Marie's the 15th, and David was born on the 7th of January. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, being in hospital next to your sister.
That was
both
quite.
had to have children.
So David and Marie were.
David was 6 weeks premature. He shouldn't have been born until February, March, would he?
No, January, February.
And
so they're just other little coincidental things that.
Yeah. And
they were all very close.
Yeah.
And then when our kids went away to school down to Ballarat, and Kathleen and Marie started, they used to go into Kathleen went to Ballarat to school because there was no education thing, there was nowhere to stay. You had to leave home and board, you couldn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't stay.
And Dad's told me this story a little bit, but I was hoping Jack might be able to tell me more. The other day, Dad took Stan's Harley for a spin.
Yeah.
The motorbike?
Motorbike.
Yes. So that'd be one time when we had a meeting up, and of course Stan had a Harley, and
an old second-hand one.
And the front of the house was a circle round in front of the house, and he went around the circle, and he must have pulled the throttle back a bit. He went straight into this fence, and the fence had to have a mesh leaning against it, so the bike went up over the top of the fence. He landed out in the middle of the paddock.
Well, Bill must have fallen off.
Yeah, he come off, yeah.
Didn't get hurt or anything.
And there was no dents in the bike.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't
Oh,
see
you
it, but I saw him afterwards.
I think I saw it because I can still sort of visualise the fence standing like that fence out there, and the piece of mesh leaning against it for I don't know what reason, and it wouldn't be quite as high as that fence.
No.
And the next thing I suppose I yelled or I just hoped that everybody was in one piece.
And he was still walking afterwards, like he
Yeah,
was pretty lucky.
it didn't hurt him. He probably got a hell of a fright, but he
He must have remembered.
was,
Oh,
He still remembers now, yeah.
Stan must have been 14 or 15. You know, they didn't ride on the road or anywhere. They just rode around the.
And it's different because kids these days, and we were saying before how like for you guys growing up, you were never bored. There was always jobs.
Yeah.
Like, you'd never be. It just
No.
it sounded there was so many jobs to do. It was flat out.
And if there wasn't, we used to, and I used to love to get on the horse and go, and I had an old greyhound dog, and he'd chase the rabbits.
It sounds so nice.
Yeah.
Like,
We found your own, and as they got older, your Kath and Bill, and Bill was pretty good, I think, at tennis. There was like a little country tennis association, and they used to go to, that was before they went away to school.
Yeah.
And then Bill,
pretty good at sport.
yeah.
Did he get that from Tom? Because I heard Tom was a pretty good footballer as well.
Yeah.
Maybe not as good as Jack, but still pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, you would have.
he wasn't quite as fast on football, but he's pretty sure of himself. Yeah.
They used to put him in the goals, didn't they? Sort of.
Yeah, full forward.
Or full forward or full back?
Full forward.
Full forward.
And did he kick a few goals?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I heard that he was pretty big, and the reason he stopped playing football was because he didn't want to hurt people anymore. Is that true?
Well,
Very true.
you could say that because we were playing Annuella one day, and he got wound up and he's flat out. And this bloke walked in front of him and he said, "Get out of my road." He said, "I can't stop." And he flattened him. Fancy telling the opposition to get out of the road.
That's unbelievable.
Okay, stop.
Yeah, I can't stop.
Put that in your diary.
So he's running for the ball,
Yeah.
and then someone's getting his way. Get out of my way!
Yeah, I can't stop.
But he was like that. He would probably been one of the biggest on the ground, playing amongst the fellas.
Except Jacko Griffin when he played.
Jacko. And he was like that. He didn't, where some of the smaller ones, and take the other one on, pushing them over or doing something, and Tom never.
No.
I don't know what you were like, but
I wasn't like that.
Tell us what you were like, Jack.
no, I think he kept boring in.
I want to hear about your career, Jack.
What's that?
I want to hear about your footy career, and like if you've got any other footy stories that I'd love to hear.
Oh, no, I'd be scolding if I said anything.
No, that's what we want. That's all right.
That's guiding. That's guiding. You did get told something once or twice, didn't you, that you ought to go down to Melbourne and.
Yeah.
One of Jack's best football mates was John Hickey's brother. John Hickey's
Jack Moran.
uncle.
Yeah.
Jack Moran.
Yeah.
And he was a really good football player. He was a fair bit older than Jack, but he sort of nurtured you in the football, didn't he?
Jim Geary. He and Jim Geary.
Injured?
He and Jim Geary.
Yeah. but so that there was sort of links. You got Kathleen married to John.
Yeah.
John's uncle, Jack Moran, was, we always, Jack thought a real lot of Jack Moran. He was like a...
They kind of brought the town together a bit, didn't they? The football clubs would bring people together.
Yeah.
So everyone would know each other from...
That was something we saw change, and we've seen change more now. You played for where you lived. If you're in Chillingolla, you're in the Chillingolla team. So, yeah. But as time went on, and now how much money they'll pay to play wherever. So that's good because
Carlton. I was asked to go down to Carlton, but I didn't go.
Because of farming?
Oh no, I just didn't think I was good enough.
Alrighty.
Didn't have enough confidence.
Yeah, I think that was probably the trouble, and probably leaving home too.
Yeah, it would have been hard. You would have been young.
Yeah.
You 17, 18, 19?
17, I suppose,
Yeah. It sounded like, the way you describe it, an awesome life. Like, it would have been hard, but it would have...
You didn't think of work as being hard, did you?
No.
Yeah. Because you're doing something you want to do.
Yeah.
We had to go 4.5 miles to school.
On the horse and gig?
On the horseback. In the early stage when we were younger, they'd take us in the horse and gig. Mum would take us, or Dad. But Mum would get home about a bit after 10 o'clock before she started her work then. Yeah.
Then she'd have to go back and pick you up at 4, 3:30.
Yes. Well, we'd start walking towards home,
And then you'd start, and then a few years later, when you were older, you'd start riding on horseback?
Riding horse.
How old were you then?
Oh, I was old enough to bite my brother in the back. Because he kept digging me in the ribs.
And then the story I heard was then that something happened and you fell off.
No, he pushed me off. He pushed me off and said, walk home. So he took off on the horse.
What did you do that for? Did you bite him?
Because I bit him on the back, but I sort of slipped forward a bit. We were only in no saddle. It was just on the bareback, and you slip forward, and he says, keep back, and give you a hit in the ribs. So I bit him on the back.
It's unbelievable. Every day.
No, not every day. No. You sort of have to hold his hips like that to try and hold yourself back while you're
two on
riding
the horse. You say 2 on the
with no saddle.
No saddle. We got to school late one morning and got up to the door and the teacher had locked the door on us. So we turned around, we saddled the horse up and we started to go home, and he sent a kid down to tell us to come up to the school. So that was a bit of a problem because I think Dad went and saw him then.
So why did you lock my kids out?
Yeah, because we were a bit late, see.
Yeah.
He shut the door on us.
Bad traffic. Did you blame the traffic?
No, it wasn't the traffic.
No, that's alright.
No traffic.
That's awesome. It's been so good hearing these stories from you guys. Like it, because life's so different now.
Isn't it funny how, see, my mum and dad would have remembered your grandfather, Ray.
Oh, yeah.
Ray, before they were married, because I thought I heard Mum saying something about Ray Cockfield and some Maggie, I think it was, came up home and they were a bit friendly for a while. But she was from the town, so anyway, Ray didn't marry her. But there was contact and knowledge of right back there.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So it goes back a long way, doesn't it?
Definitely. Yeah. And is there anything else that you want to have on record? Because I'll probably show this to my kids and grandkids. Anything you want to tell them? Any life advice? Or any other stories? You don't have to. It's just.
What about?
I'd advise any advice to offer the future generation. Be truthful and honest.
But yeah.
Or maybe even for you two, you've celebrated your 70th wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
That's incredible, mate. What's your secret? Because no many people make it to 70s, let alone 70 now. So, what's the secret?
We'd argue things out to a point of agreeing.
Doesn't mean to say we're always saying, "Oh my darling." There were times when
We'd argue until sort it out.
what was sorted out between
Yeah.
loyalty to one another, I suppose, isn't it? Then you don't. You never liked being too far apart. We like to. Nowadays, people have to go work one place and
And live somewhere else.
live somewhere else. So I think that keeps it going. That's a bit of a test, but a lot of people do that and do it well, and other times it doesn't work out. And you can't have everything you want. You've got to work towards it, or sort of.
Well, if you work for something, you appreciate it. If someone gives you something, well, it's not appreciated so much, I think.
Not as deeply, anyway. I mean.
In deep things, like some people have land given to them, and that they don't appreciate it as much, as what you do yourself.
Definitely, I think that's great advice. Yeah, you got to work for it.
We get great pleasure out of seeing the generation. We're very interested in you, even though we didn't see a lot of you when you were little.
Yeah,
we were interested to see that what you.
We like to see the family keep together.
definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why we hold like the 70th or the 65th or the 60th, like we have
even
little parties just to keep the people together.
Yeah. Because distance has spread the families over miles now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But when Kath and I, that was one thing that we always did to try and keep to get together. Sometimes not easy to have a birthday party when you've got 5 or 6 kids running around, but we'd always make the effort and try and.
Bob's children didn't mix so well because of a little bit of animosity between
Bob and Nancy's marriage didn't last. But, Kath and Tom they were probably closer to Bob and Nancy and their children, and they were very good and very helpful to them. And you'd thought that the children would have grown up with and remembered that link, but I don't think they have much contact now.
I don't think there's much contact now, even with them.
But you guys have done a great job keeping the family together. Like, you see that photo that we looked at before of your wedding anniversary, and even though you guys weren't there, it was people that come from everywhere.
Yeah.
Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland.
And
I think they like getting together.
Yeah, they do. It was an awesome day. Yeah.
Well, Janet, you hadn't met Janet much, had you?
A little bit, not really yet.
No.
Yeah. So it's nice that she can let me into her house.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that's probably
That's
plenty.
what I say to the kids. There seemed to be a time, or some families, the only time they met was at funerals, maybe weddings or funerals, and that's my wish, that they keep in touch and keep contact and realise that they're all the one stock.
Yeah, good stock. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank
you.